Anyway, I have decided to do a little update of our garden and talk about what's going well this year, what's not going well, and some of the new things we're trying. So I came to where I remember starting a similar video last year sometime, and I'm pretty sure I was talking about our salad garden, which we always kind of grow tomatoes over there, and salad mostly it was here, and we're trying to create a kind of food forest on the space around our house, which is well, it's 3 different spots, and I'll start here, but we'll go to each one because they're all very different. So over the years we're figuring out what native plants want to be where, and sort of just allowing weeds to grow as well, and trying to create a balance of the plants that are here, and trying to have plants that will reseed themselves mixed with things that obviously, you know, like zucchini and broccoli that we seed every year, and some things like trees. So one thing that's going spectacularly well is our lettuce. It is just everywhere, as you can see. We're kind of leaving a few here with the tomatoes, but the tomatoes would really rather there wasn't any lettuce. So as soon as these go to seed, I'm getting them out of here. And yeah, we'll just allow them to seed themselves a little bit in there, and that'll be there for next year, I guess, or I'll add some seeds in the fall, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so we have a few different kinds of lettuces. Generally, they actually seed their own type because they seem to bloom at the same time as the same type, so we haven't had much cross breeding of our lettuces. But anyway, and we have kales coming up everywhere, which I generally take out and eat because they take too much away from the tomatoes. So these have to go. Those poor tomatoes, they got put in this very full garden. But anyway, so some things that we're challenged with this year were, first of all, a very wet spring, which is obviously great for all the lettuce and kale and everything, but not for our apple tree. Oh, and the slugs. We've used so much slug bait, it's pretty awful, but it's the only way to have a garden around here with literally millions of slugs. But also the apples, apparently this is happening to lots of people on the island. They just didn't bloom for very long, and then ours got a whole lot of aphids also. I had to cut some parts out of it. They were so badly infested. And we have, I think, 4 apples started on this tree, which is our only actual producing tree. So that's too bad. Yeah, and if you're wondering, this is just radishes that I'm letting flower. I save the seeds every year, so I leave a few in for that. Oh, beets! I don't know why, but the beets, you can see a few here. We have them all over the place. They're doing spectacularly well this year. Too bad none of us likes them too much. Well, one person in the family loves them, Annie. But yeah. Oh, something that's doing fabulously is our mushrooms. We got this idea from our friend Cheryl, who does this, and from Eat What You Sow. And so we just got a whole bunch of wine caps and put them in a couple of the pathways between some beds, and we've been eating them. It's kind of like adds to our eat what's ready when it's ready theme. That's what we generally do. You know, if there's zucchini ready, we're having zucchini. If there are mushrooms, we're having mushrooms. And mushrooms, they're kind of unexpected. Sometimes we get tons, and sometimes suddenly there's nothing for a month and we think they're done, and then, oh look, more mushrooms. So yeah, it's exciting that way. I love mushrooms. They're kind of like surprise presents from the wood chips in this case. And I leave a bunch of them to re-spore the area. One thing that is, well, in a way we're doing well with this year is that I don't know if I think I mentioned last year, we had a problem with having a bunch of salad greens in here, and that is our rooster pen, which unfortunately means there's dust being kicked up there the whole time, and the salad was always full of dust. So this year I decided to put zucchini here, and some borage. Borage is just It's more like I don't take quite as much borage out here because it's everywhere. But because the zucchini, we just wash them anyway, so it's not a big deal if they're dusty. And these kind of go, like the leaves face away from this, so they'll collect the dust on the back of themselves and kind of shield this from the rooster dust. So that seems to be working. But I'll head down to the south garden and show you where it's not working. So over here is disaster number one with the dust. I don't know if I showed last year, but we normally grow sweet peas here. And then we have whatever this purple flowering thing is that I got years ago. I have no idea what it's called anymore. Rock cress maybe, or I don't know. I think it was called rock cress on the label, and that is not really what it is. Anyway, so we expanded our chicken run to come under the porch since it was so handy, this unused area. But unfortunately, of course, I forgot that means dust. So everything here, as you can see, is completely covered in dust. And hi, there's Big Bird in there. And the sweet peas are doing terribly. They're doing a little better up along behind the rose and strawberries there, but yeah. So I may have to find this thing doesn't seem to mind the dust, and in fact it's keeping it back a bit. But I may have to find somewhere else to plant sweet peas next year. So there's that. But peas in general, ta-da! So this is like my enormous joy right now. I have wanted this garden since we moved into this house. Well, actually I grew up in this house, but since my partner and I moved back into this house 20 years ago, 21 something. And because of COVID, we finally have it. We didn't think we'd get this whole trellis, but then the other one collapsed in a storm, so we ended up, the guy behind the camera is, and a little bit, my partner and daughter ended up building the dream trellis, and all these pathways, and luckily we got some nice wood chips from the new health center being built, well, from all the trees that unfortunately were cut down for it, but anyway. And so I finally have my dream garden. And the peas, I know I've talked about it before, but they're great. We have them every year, and every year we eat them and keep a whole bunch to replant. And they're doing so well. I'll show you later, but we have maybe almost this much again growing in the back garden over there. And they're still doing great. So yeah, we have a mix of everything. Like I've said, we're all just experimenting, and the lettuce is doing well, and the broccoli's okay, but I'm finding it really small heads this year, and I don't know why, but somehow it's rather small. So we'll see what that's about. I have no idea. And then this is like kind of my broccoli cauliflower garden, but it also has peas for the nitrogen and clovers and a lot of smartweed, which we call stupid weed because it's everywhere and really annoying. And my roses up front, which make my favorite spring, well, June salad anyway. Oh, and this gigantic walking stick kale, which we got from some other friends on the island last year. We're letting it go to seed, but it's actually two or three down there. I think it's 2. So hopefully we'll be able to plant a whole bunch more in the fall. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It makes these gigantic, like, sturdy leaves, kind of crunchy. The stems are really great. It's like it's a good solid green anyway. Yeah, and this tiny little currant. This is new. I got this from my brother. We don't know what it's going to be like yet. We'll see. We'll see. So, a big new thing is we are trying to replace our whole lawn with this more sustainable lawn. We bought this mixture from West Coast Seeds, and I think I got some from somewhere else too. Anyway, we have a couple of different like low maintenance lawn mixes, and so they're flowers, bit of clover and sedges. And these are brand new, but a big part of that is the ripping up of the old lawn, which is quite difficult. But I'll take you over to the chickens. Oh, and the chickens are going really well. We ate a bunch last year. We've had 26 chicks this year, most of which, well, some of which are already in the freezer because they hatched in early February, and most of which will end up in our freezer, so that's good. Hi.
Hello.
Do you want to show about the chickens project?
Okay.
I'll take the compost stuff. This is Marcus, who you've seen before, the guy who does all the big building stuff and carries compost buckets. I'm gonna go in and get Splash for, because I want to talk about chickens after.
Well, so getting all this grass away is a bit of a pain in the butt, so we decided we didn't want to do that ourselves and get the chickens to do it. So we got this movable fence and put it up here and put string above to keep, you know, bad birds out. Now the chickens are doing the work for us.
So can I talk about chickens? Because like I said, we have our success with the meat birds, and we also have still success with Mr. Splash, who we had all last year and for some bizarre reason is all our best friend. Every day, that's my bedroom window up there in the house. He jumps on that isolation box that we have and he looks in my bedroom window and crows in my face, and if I don't come to the window and greet him, then he keeps crowing. Right, mister? And he loves snuggles, which is very strange because he's an Americana, and I actually have a scar on my face from the first Americana I had when we were kids. That's more what they're known for. Well, that was an Araucana, but still, Americanas aren't too different. And you want to stand up my hand? Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, slight interruption because we had some kind of audio issue. But anyway, I'm putting him back so I can tell you about our co-parenting hens. Here you go, lovely. There you go. There you go. So, now, I don't know if you can see this. There's Gray sitting in the back, in the old part of the run, back there with one chick. And this is Delilah, up here in the new part with one chick also. So what happened was, we had, I don't know, about 24 chicks already this year, and it was just getting a little too much. Well, it was perfect, but then we had 4 more hens go broody. So we gave, well, one of them is still broody, but 3 of them were brooding and brooding and brooding together in the same box, and sometimes switching over into another one. So we just gave them, 3 or 4 eggs, I can't remember, and eggs that we didn't even think would hatch, because we didn't really want any more. And so one of them quit, and these 2, the Gray Lady and Delilah, ended up co-parenting, and they had 2 eggs hatched between them, and they just they do everything together. They've taught the chicks together. They'll stand beside each other showing the chicks something, and the chicks will like just walk back and forth over the backs of both of them. Are you leaving, Splashy? No, I'd rather you stayed and did this area for me. Come here. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll come out. Anyway, so that's our lovely couple of co-parenting mamas. Yeah, Marcus went over there, and I'm going to tell you about one of our little mistakes we made.
We never make mistakes.
Oh, no. You just had to do lots of work because of my non-mistake. Well, lots of work. So we have all these potatoes, and I thought, oh, it'd be really great to put peas and beans in between the potatoes. And so Tally, I think, planted this nice row of beans at my suggestion between potatoes, and I thought, oh, we'll just leave a gap, and I left a gap of like 1 meter. Well, he left the gap, and yeah, so potatoes get a lot bigger than beans a lot faster, and that's kind of a problem. So Marcus had to put these 2 2x2s here to kind of hold the potatoes at bay a little bit, so the beans, you can see these poor little beans trying to grow up in here. So those beans will have some light and grow. We've planted piles of chickpeas over on this side. You can see they're all coming up. And those I don't care so much. I'm not hoping to get any peas out of them, but just for nitrogen and soil quality, we put them there. But yeah. And then just because we're here, this is like our kind of difficult garden because it's all growing under a sequoia. But I'll take you through our new pea trellises built by mostly Tally. And from up here you can also see all these, all the little beds we have. They're all full. Our asparagus has already come up and we've eaten that, and you can see the other pea trellis back there. So yeah, peas are doing great. They don't seem to have a problem growing under the sequoia. And as usual, the other things that we're managing under the sequoia are fennel and, there's a helicopter up there, fennel and garlic and some lettuce. Not much else. Potatoes are happy here. And the asparagus. Although it's not too close. Really the only thing that's very happy right under the sequoia up there is the fennel and wild ginger. And yeah, potatoes are okay, but yeah, so it's garlic scape time again. I guess we know what we're having for dinner tonight. Garlic scapes with mushrooms, and I think one zucchini we have ready. So that'll be tasty. Anyway, I think that's it. That's all I can think about to tell you. But that's our garden update. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.